What is up, YouTube? What is good? It's your boy Big G. Here, just got done watching a big announcement from Marvel Studios. Um, it's basically, I don't know what it was at first. What they were doing and whatnot, and I was watching it. And this morning, I was like, I think it was a little bit after like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I just happened to watch something, and there was like I started talking about almost like a big announcement for something, and I don't know what it was or anything about it or what the inclination was or whatever. And so I check out the the live stream the YouTube was doing. Is everything always is the guy who does it. Doing it for a while, loved it. Good stuff, don't bullshit way around everything. So I checked it out. Uh, Around 11 o'clock, they started the live stream, right? And basically, it was just it was basically in a warehouse with a chair of Chris Hemsworth's name on it. I'm like, okay. So I watched that for a while, and then they added another chair, and then another chair. They had a bunch of chairs too. It was basically a casting. I don't know what it was at first. It was we don't know. People guessing it was for Doomsday or for Secret Wars or whatever the case may be. And it turns out, ended up being a thing for Doomsday. So I didn't know that at first at all. I just figured, why they put the chairs people's names on it. It's like Chris Hemsworth, and then they kept going, and then did Mackey's and Sebastian, and the list kept going and going, and it was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Very interesting. We don't know what the hell. I didn't know what this is about. Nobody knew. Just warehouse with a bunch of names on it. We don't know what the hell's going on. So they go down the whole list. Pedro Casco was the last one. He plays Mr. Fantastic, and then they do one more, and then warehouse opens. They don't know what the hell's going on. And the person walks down and ended up being Downey. I'm like, fuck yeah! So it was badass. So it's finally, everything's in Doomsday is finally in production. I just got done watching it. It was at least 4 or 5 hours just to watch the thing. It was worth it to me. Watching something like that, it's like, what the hell's going on? Watch the chairs with names. It's worth it, and it was. So I'm glad that they did that. Didn't see a few names in there that some were missing, but they brought a few back from like some original X-Men. A few regular, some OG Avengers, and we got some new faces in there, of course, because I didn't know what the casting was. Nobody knew who was part of this except for Downey. That's the only thing we really knew. He was the main villain of this whole project, so we didn't know who was going to be a part of it, who was going to be in the film. We didn't know who was cast for anything at all until they did this, and because I didn't know anything about it until today. I'm like, oh shit, because I do follow social media and whatnot. I didn't know about what they were doing with this. I'm like, oh shit, this is badass. So check it out. Look at all through the end. Great, love the cast. A few Wakandas. They got a few people from Wakandas. A few from Mackie and Sebastian, like all those guys, Thor and all that stuff. A few original X-Men come back. I mean, it's a good cast. It looks like a really good cast, and it is a really good cast. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this movie so far. But again, I didn't see a few other faces that weren't in this particular film. So again, I feel like they're just doing this group now. I think this is the only group they're going to use for this particular movie. It feels weird not to see Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. A little bit Elizabeth Olsen. Anything like that. But this is definitely a different look into something like this movie, like Avengers Doomsday. To see this finally get that ball rolling on something like this, it's cool. But I like the cast. I like the whole group that they used. A few original X-Men came back, and everybody was hoping for like Hugh Jackman or Reynolds or something like that. But I think that's probably for another one, maybe. But this, like I said, this was a good idea by Marvel to do something like this, to just get a warehouse, get a bunch of chairs, and guess who's part of this film. And again, looking at the first name, Hemsworth, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, just to share what his name was. Is he Dragon something? Is it for Thor 5? Is it for something else? Doomsday? Because I didn't know what it was at first until I figured it out. It took a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, this is pretty cool how they introduced it. So I like that. It was interesting, and definitely, gave some, in-depth look at what the cast was gonna be. Got most of Fantastic Four in there. I didn't really assume. I just kind of guessed in ways like, oh, they gotta have that. Some of the original X-Men, a few OG Avengers, some new ones. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking this group. I'm liking this cast. I mean, I think it's gonna play out very well for them, and straight up genius by them to do this. Because again, you didn't know, you're watching something for a few hours, it's like, oh, it's just put cheers and names on it, but it meant something, and it did. So I'm glad that they did this. So this is something that this stuff are gonna play out down the road. Where okay, you got a great group going. Let's see how all this works out, and see what people think of it. And I thought a lot of it. I'm like, oh, it's been a few hours, 3 4 hours. We didn't know if it was gonna end or just started at a random time and ended at a certain time in the afternoon. So I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I watched the whole thing. It was cool. Like the end, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. So I dug it. So it was very cool to see, you know, get Doomsday finally in production. Here's your cast. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I mean, I get that they didn't want to put a lot of certain faces back into the MCU in this movie. I think they kind of did something a little differently and come up with an idea of like, oh, how are we gonna play this out? How's this gonna work? Who's gonna be part of it? Who wants to be part of it? Things like that. So kind of, this worked out. This was a good way of keeping everything kind of just on the low, not introduce anything yet. Coming up some big Marvel announcement today. Didn't know what it was. Really knew what was going on with it, but this is interesting. This is something that definitely got people interested, and it did. Tons of people watching. I watched it. I mean, it was just like, holy shit, this is something. This is actually happening, and it is. So I'm glad that they kind of went in this kind of route where you get to see everything. You see names. You pick up on it a little bit. You start guessing, and it's like, oh, this is for like I said, Doomsday for Secret Wars, and I really didn't know, and now you know what it's for. So this is badass. This is something that really opens the door for the MCU now, and really gives it a good straightaway, and see how this all plays out when the trailer finally comes out eventually. Give it times, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a very good version of something that I think people are gonna really like, and I'm gonna love it because again, being a huge fan of it, it's just like this is cool. And this is some real badass stuff that they're doing with this, and they are. So I could definitely see a lot of things going very well for this movie. I mean, as long as they don't link a lot of things and throw a lot of things out there and guesses, I'd rather just see the movie, be surprised, and I think I will be watching this whole thing. It's like I'm just curious how they're gonna play this out and what's gonna be the first thing, first scene, whatever. But I think once they finally, get it all done, we finally see it, people are gonna love it, and I'm gonna be definitely up there with one of them. So this will be interesting to see. I think people are gonna like this film a lot.